is MD in the house. Thank you for joining in. This is my first video podcast and this is my sixth podcast on Spotify. And thank you for joining in. We're going to talk about something really interesting today because it will make you a better person every day. And every time you talk to someone, you'll be a better person for sure. I mean, for fucking sure. And yeah. Follow me on Instagram. My ID is my ID is Manav_Dutt, and I'm also a model, trying to be an actor, a singer, guitarist. Sometimes I make memes, sometimes I make spiritual stuff. So I'm an overall package and entertainer. Do remember this name, Manav Dutt. And here we go. Here we start with the podcast today, and the topic is pretty simple. Before telling you the topic, I would love to tell you an incident where where did I get this from? Okay, I was watching this news channel, and on this news channel, I won't say the name of the news channel because I forgot. But then I saw this guy named Aved Oja. He's a history teacher. He's pretty amazing. He teaches UPSC aspirants, and he has some crazy ass philosophies. Now, what makes him different is that my history class used to be really boring. What the fuck? Like dates and shit. I don't care about that. What he tells you about is that okay, he'll tell you about the dates and everything, but then he'll tell you exactly what happened and exactly how that in piece of information you can understand your life better with it, right? And he is amazing with the stories and everything, and I really love them. So he said something that was really, really crazy. I'll have to read it here. He said it in Hindi though, but in English it's learn from everybody, but don't invoke anger for them. This is a very vital information because what we generally do is that whenever we meet somebody, we make these images about that person. Like that person is just like this, like that, like this, like that. Whereas that is not true. You cannot judge anybody within like 10-15 minutes. Their whole life they have lived, and you cannot judge their shit with just your 10-minute interaction. Okay. Actually, you can never actually judge somebody because everybody is going through something, and if you judge them, then that's just misinformation. That's just you carrying some misinformation about the person. Now, if somebody treats, for example, I'll give you a good example. When you meet somebody in the club and you chill with them and you're like, wow, this person is amazing, and then you meet them the next day and then wow, this person is a disappointment. Now, which was the truth? Both of them are not true. And both of them are equally as true because you don't know the person. The person themselves don't know themselves, and they have been living with themselves since so long now. You have to understand that you cannot judge anybody. Thus, engaging in making judgments about somebody or making images about somebody, that is just a waste of time, energy, everything. Rather, listen to that person. Be a good listener. And I've written a shitload of stuff about how to be a good listener, man. I can really go very deep into it. But then you tell me, how do you be a good listener? Pause this video or audio. You can think about it and see if what I say correlates with you. If it doesn't, then do comment down below because why not, man? I'm not here to prove that I know a lot of stuff. I'm just here to see if I know it correct. So if you people will tell me, I'll listen. Trust me. Even if you'll abuse me or anything, I'll listen. I no problem. I listen, try to understand and okay, thank you. Okay, being a good listener. How do you become a good listener? Ask yourself this question because in the case of our mental abilities, I feel that we already know all the answers. I do believe that. If you really think about it, most of your mental stuff can be sorted out just by being in the moment. When you're in the moment, there's no problem, no tension, no happiness, no sadness, no nothing. You're just being. And it is the most optimum way to live. I mean, sadness and happiness would come and go, experience them and do whatever you want with them because they need to be treated by you. I mean, they need your attention and everything. Give them the attention they need and then move on. Don't take the second arrow where suffering and craving for pleasure and this and that comes in place. Don't do that, and you will be a much chiller person, like overall also. So yeah, we just need someone to point it out for us. So I have given you a direction. Pause the podcast. Yes, pause. Samjhe? I'll explain. Okay, now we're gonna start with how to be a good listener. I'll explain it in one line. When we understand what the other person is saying and why the person is saying whatever he or she is saying, then you're actually listening. Now I'll say it again, okay? When we understand what the other person is saying and why the other person is saying whatever he or she is saying, then you're listening. And it's very hard to have these conversations because your brain has to be active. Your brain is very lazy. It just wants to laze around, doesn't want to do much. Honestly, your brain can. I've seen heroin addicts, and I'm like, how is their brain even allowing them to do that? Because our brain doesn't really give a fuck, man. It would just, if you reproduce, and then that's more than enough. Even if you don't do that now, it's more than fine. Your brain would just let you sleep at one place, and till the time you're alive, it's fine for him. So even heroin addicts live. So that's how fuck all your brain is. That's how lazy your brain is. The brain creates images and everything just because it doesn't want to put in the consideration and the energy to really understand the person. It's rather, that image, that's the person, done. Next time I meet that person, I'll function through the image, no brain usage, brain is happy. Full lazy. Okay. One trick of how you can do that is by mentally telling yourself that you will have a great conversation with people, and trust me, you'll have an amazing conversation that day. That is very true. If you tell yourself that you're going to have an amazing conversation, and also I would like to point out, I think I have not put this here, that you have to be honest with yourself too. Like, have an honest conversation. Don't pretend you like something, or don't pretend you dislike something just because it's in trend. Really have a conversation. Talk to them, like. And with honesty, the thing is that you don't have to think about anything. You can just blabber shit out, and you're gonna yeah. And that helps, man. I don't want to use my brain in that direction where I have to make up stuff and everything and remember what I lied about. And I would rather be honest and think about and try to understand the other person. Ask the right questions. That is also very important. You have to ask the right questions. If you're really interested in a conversation, if somebody a very boring lawyer walks in your room and says in the most boring, most monotone way, like, there is this uncle of yours who died and his 1000 crore property is in your name. Bro, your ears will pop and you would ask all the right questions and you'll do everything right. It's only because your interest is there, right? Doesn't matter how fuck all the person is. If you really want to understand, you would fucking understand it. Okay. And also, just be honest, man. I think that's just be honest and try to understand where the other person is coming from. You learn a lot. Even if I'll tell you, even if you meet somebody who's absolutely fucked, then you can understand by talking to them and understanding their perspective that what not to do in your life, right? Not everybody is gonna tell you what to do in your life. Some people come in your life to tell you what not to do, and so I've also had so many people who've kind of made me understand what not to do with my life. And I've learned a lot with them. I could have been irritated because I am a dumbass and I hate it when other people act like dumbasses in front of me. But then I controlled all that urges of mine because I don't want to. That is my personal shit, right? I shouldn't let it hinder them. They are what they are. So I tried to learn a lot from them, man, and I really did learn. Out of 100 things, if 99 things they said shit, but one thing made sense to me, and if it made sense to me, I would like to apply it in my life and everything, shit like that. So that changes you. That is like the 1% that people talk about. Like whenever people talk about less getting better 1% every day, this is a part of it. This is a good part of learning stuff. I mean, a podcast or a video, teaches you a lot of stuff, but only if you're willing to listen to it, only if you're willing to learn from it. Even books, they teach you so much, but only if you're willing to learn from it, you'll learn. And one of the easiest ways I have understood is that I can talk to people and I can learn real life stuff from them and be of some value to these people or to myself, whatever. But just trying to understand their perspective is such a privilege. Is such a privilege, because you will never be able to think like they think. And do you realize that there are so many things in life that you don't know about and they know, and same goes with them also. They also don't know a lot of stuff that you know. So if you both listen, it's such a win-win conversation. It is such a conversation, it's such a beautiful thing. You both will grow, and every conversation you all have, you will grow. And but just be honest, okay? That I'll tell you. Just be honest. And don't have any. So the second point is, don't have any preconceived notions. Don't have any preconceived notion whatsoever. Period. Makes no sense. Okay, somebody tells you that this person is bad, this person is bad, this person is bad. Okay, tell them like, okay, fine, I'll see that for myself if that person really is that bad. Okay, and go and talk to that person, because if you have these kind of notions, then you will not be able to talk to that person properly at all. Like there was this guy who cheated me in my cafe thing. And because I am kind of a chiller guy, so I was like, yeah, fine, man. He was my friend's friend, so whenever we used to meet, I never used to say that, oh, I don't want to meet him, this or that. What it is, what it is. Shit happened, okay, fine. But then I was physically reacting. Yeah, I couldn't even look into his eyes and talk to him or anything. I didn't, like, if that person is here, I was like this. I wouldn't even nah. I would just look at the other side and stuff like that, man. And I couldn't have a conversation with him. And when I recently had such beautiful conversations with him, I really understood, what not to do in life. Like everything that came out of his mouth, I really understood that, okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this in your life. And you can narrow down what you want to do in life when you know what you want to do, or when you don't know what you want to do, or when you know what you don't want to do. Sorry. That was quite wrong. But when you know what you don't want to do, that's how you narrow it down. And because of such conversations, I am in such a beautiful place mentally, physically. My friends, they are amazing. My parents and everything, it's going great. I mean, and trust me, it wasn't going that great. I really had to make a lot of efforts, like especially with parents. Now my next topic is gonna be around how you should have a good relation with your parents, or what kind of a relation you should have with your parents. And I think I'll do that thing on live, because I need to really have a conversation with you all. It's not, I don't want it to be a mono dialogue. Mono dialogue, monologue. Mono dialogue. Monologue. And because it's very important, yeah. So yeah, no preconceived notion, be honest, be a good listener, and don't let these external things affect you. I'll tell you a good story, Buddha, Siddhartha, he was among the initial Buddhas who spread Buddhism. And there's a story that he was outside a village and he was just sitting and chilling. And somebody came to him, sitting and chilling, I mean, teaching his disciples and whatever. And then somebody came from the village and he heard such shit about him and this and that, and he spat on Buddha's face and started abusing and hurling abuses at him and this and that. And what Buddha did, Buddha took a fucking cloth and just looked at him and didn't even like no reaction, just looked at him, with this kind, sympathetic eyes, just looked at him. And that person just spat and said shit and went away. And that person, when he was trying to sleep and thinking about this incident, of course you'll feel bad because the other person didn't react at all the way you thought he'd react, and the thing that you heard about him, none of them were seeming to be true or anything. So he tried to find Buddha the next day, but Buddha is a nomad. He just went away from that place to another place. And then he started asking people and going here, going there, and in 10-15 hours he found Buddha on another tree. Not 10-15 hours, I think the same day, morning he went, so evening he found him. And he was sitting under another tree teaching his disciples this and that. And then he came to Buddha and he was like, "I'm sorry Buddha, I'm really sorry I did this to you. I did not mean that. Please forgive me." And Buddha in a very calm voice says that I forgive you. I had forgiven you the moment you came to me. And your abuses were like a gift that I did not accept. And that person started crying because he said such bad stuff to him and this and that, and that kind of changed his life because he never ever lost his control again, because that's not what somebody who has a higher emotional quotient does. So Buddha did not let external forces affect his mindset. You have to become like that person. If you're getting affected by other people, then it's not gonna turn out to be great for you, man. Nah. If you're disappointed, rather be disappointed by yourself, not by others. If you feel sad, if you feel mad, if you feel bad, it's better that you feel that because of yourself, not because of other people. Trust me, I've been there. I would recommend it 100%. So yeah, this was the podcast for today, and hope you people liked it. If you have any feedback, do write the comment down below. I would love to talk to you all. Thank you. It's always a privilege. And take care, you all. Take good care of yourself and your family and everybody around you. Mwah.